god. There are at least 5 or 6 heading my way. You're really committed to go to the end here, eh? Because there's nowhere to turn around.
Youpers. Fun.
Well, it's been an interesting day. Checked the weather forecast and there was a good weather window, so I scrambled to get out the door and on my way. Wasn't planning on starting the trip today. Aaron and I drive to the town of Red Rock, and there are a couple guys there flooding the ice, making a little rink. And lo and behold, they carved out an ice road that we can drive in on several kilometers out onto the ice. Could go even farther down, but I'm gonna cut across there, and it got a little ugly looking here, so called that the end of the road. And just as I finished setting up, getting ready to haul out, I felt something weird on the back of my teeth. I have a permanent brace there. It just started to come off, and it's metal wire. There's no way I could proceed with the trip. So I continued tugging at it and just ripped it off. So I've kind of been wondering when I could get rid of that. I haven't had braces for like 25 years, so I guess it's kind of nice. I'm just glad I could get it off. Feels a little weird on the back of the teeth, but anyway, onward. Goal for today is to get not to that island there, but tiny one out there, 8 kilometers from here. Eight kilometers is a decent haul, but it's hard packed snow out here. Don't even need snowshoes. It's a good thing it's a mild day with good travel conditions, and as usual, everything is farther away than it looks. Even the first island doesn't seem to be getting any closer. Just got to the end of the first island here, and I'm thinking I'll tuck in here and save that for tomorrow. It's another 5 kilometers, so I'd be getting there right around dark, so that doesn't seem like the best idea. Just ease into the trip a little bit. It's a beautiful spot. Always wanted to come to Superior in winter, and this is why. Look at this view. Be out of the wind here. It's a simple setup for night number 1. No stove, no fire, just a quick cold camp and freeze-dried meal with the thermos water. Well, it's pretty cool to be out here on Superior finally in winter. Let's have a look at the map. Winter camped on some big lakes, but Nipigon Bay alone dwarfs them all, let alone the rest of Superior. I started today here from Red Rock. We drove down the ice road to 5 Mile Point. The ice road continued down probably around here, but I cut across to Burnt Island, camped at the end of it there, and then tomorrow hop over to Frog Island, stay there for a night or 2 depending on how I like it, and then another 9 kilometers will take me to the Nipigon Strait. This is what I really want to get to on this trip, but it's going to take a couple days on foot. Well, this much anticipated trip's off to a good start, and although it's not as cozy in here without the wood stove for the night, it makes the sleeping bag feel so sweet. And I do have one luxury little nip of scotch. Cheers. The illusion of warmth. It's only going to be about -5 tonight, so should be a pretty comfortable sleep. All set to go here for day 2. Nice early start. That's the mainland over there. These are big islands. And then there's Frog Island, which is my next stop. And beyond is the Nippigan Strait. It's supposed to be pretty windy this afternoon, maybe some snow, and that breeze is starting to kick up. I've paddled this bay before, and a wind like I'm gonna get this afternoon could tear it up. So, nice little advantage here in winter. No waves, just pressure ridges. It's pretty dark back there. About a kilometer out from Frog Island now, getting close. And you can see way down Nippigan Bay. It is just massive. Just got to Frog Island and the wind is really picking up, taking a break in behind it. And I could camp here, that was sort of my plan. But it's scrubby and not really charming at all. The firewood potential looks dismal and it's only 10:30. So I might as well carry on. It's gonna be a really long day because that was about 5 kilometers and it's another 9 to the Nippigan Strait with no land in between. So once I get out halfway, then I'm committed and I gotta do the full day. Normally I try to max out around 10 kilometers. So this is gonna be a big one, but conditions are great. I'm gonna go for it. All right, back on my way. Getting to camp tonight is gonna feel amazing. I can tell that already. Should be able to trust in the ice out here. I expect it's pretty thick. All right, walking over these pressure ridges is probably one of the only spots that could have some holes, but all good. Nippigan Bay stretches 50 kilometers from down there to its east end, and it can whip up as much as any bay can get there. Just about halfway now. That's Frog Island back there, and that's where I'm headed, another 4 or 5 kilometers. And it looks like that snow is on the way as well. Couple clicks left. The sun's breaking through a little bit despite the snow and just white. It's white everywhere. I'm shooting for the end of this point where I can see down the strait and back into the bay. That'd be pretty sweet. The wind is howling right now. I'm glad it's at my back. Coming up 15 kilometers per day between the last 24 hours. But if I do 1 more kilometer, I think I'll be perfectly positioned. My legs are pretty raw at this point. So close. Just hope there's a good spot there. Clearings can be at a premium in bush like this. That's a pretty good looking spot right there. Gonna look a little further down here, but I'll come back to that if I don't see anything else. Yeah, nothing too inviting along this shoreline, so I think I'll head back and take that spot. It's pretty sweet. And I'm in the strait. This is it. been a treat going without snowshoes the whole way in the hard packed snow, but on land it's soft and deep. Yeah, what a nice spot. Yeah, this is really quite nice. You don't get too many clearings like this on the Superior shoreline. I'm sure it's just all rock in summer. And there's one standing dead tree there to get me started for firewood. Whew. Which is good, because I don't want to go far. I just want to rest up after that haul in here. Hard part's done. It's supposed to be pretty breezy from the north for the next day and a half, so nice line of shelter here as well. And sunrise view. This is awesome. Breaking some trails through the bush here for hygiene and looking for wood. That might do. There's some options. And there's another one. Just a lovely bit of woods. Worked out so nicely. Tent's up, and I can't wait to collapse in there, but really need some water. I brought in the liter thermos, liter Nalgene, and those are now out, so. There's where I came from today. Burnt Island on the left. This is sweet. Really happy with this camp. And the wind has already blown away my tracks. Like I was never there. Not there yet. Oh, it's deep. This auger's barely gonna reach. Wow. I hope it is gonna reach. There's that much ice, at least. Oh, there. Oh, sweet water. You can eat snow, but it's really not going to keep up with the needs out here. Superior water is very clean. Still a chance of parasites, and I could use water purification tablets, but today I'm just going to risk it just to get me started here. What a marathon. It always is, especially with a 16-kilometer haul. I'm ravenous. Water's just starting to boil there, and then it's time for a big meal. I'm really glad I got somewhere that had some shelter from this north wind, because it is pretty blustery out there. Awesome camp. Just thrilled with it. Black bean burritos tonight with onion and tomato. Did one of them in a wrap. The rest of burrito bowl. I don't care what form it comes in. So here's where I ended up. 16 kilometers down to here. And lots to explore in the days to come. On satellite I could see that this probably has ice. This is about the boundary of ice. And then it's open water out here. It's just too rough. It always breaks it up. So I've got lots to explore, and I'm interested to see what the fishing's like in here. Chilly, blustery start to day 3, but feeling much better with some food and water in me. And look at this view that I've got as a reward for that work yesterday. This is incredible. Easily one of my favorite winter campsites. Never had a view like this. I can't wait to ice fish in here, but it's just too cold and windy today. My legs are not down to go adventuring anywhere today, so I'm gonna recuperate and get lots of firewood, set myself up for the rest of the trip. Got a couple good pieces. Gonna have a look down the shoreline. It is windy out here. That should do it. Well, I'm officially home. Nice stack of firewood, more to process in the back if I need it. And this would be a great camp on any lake, but here, I think it might be my favorite winter camp ever. This is incredible. Been a great day out here. Some sunshine, smell of fresh cut spruce, crackle of the wood stove, and stirrism. That means the sound of the wind blowing through the trees and the leaves. It comes from the Greek word thauros, just a silent P in there, meaning whispering. It's gonna be a chillier night, but the wind's supposed to taper off tomorrow, and I can't wait to get out there. Frosty one for day 4, but the sun is out. Feels great, and I could ice fish any of the next few days. It's supposed to get even milder, but with the sun and calm conditions, I think this is good enough, warm enough. Right out in front of me in the middle, the depth is 36, and that's in fathoms. 1 fathom equals 6 feet, so multiply that by 6, so about 200 feet. That's pretty deep, so I'm just going to try right around camp today. Just leaving camp. And I swear I heard something over here. There was a sound for sure. Huh. In these temperatures, just thought I heard something again. Snow is very crunchy and it makes a distinct sound. So there must be something over here. This giant peninsula, the Black Bay Peninsula, is densely inhabited with moose, which could also mean wolves. I wonder what's in there. Maybe it was just the ice crunching and cracking. It's been doing that all night and this morning with the cold temps. But it didn't sound like it. So there's camp, the bay, and looking south down the strait. That's not even the end of it there. And that's not the end of this hole either. It's deep out here too. Hole number 1. Starting out with the white tube jig, one of my favorites for lake trout. And on Superior I go with the big ice tackle. This is a 40-inch medium heavy rod, much bigger than typical ice tackle. And my summer reel as well, which I think is size 25, maybe, yeah, 25. Tapping bottom here, probably well over 100 feet. Enjoying the sunshine, and I will move soon and try a bit shallower. Just wander over to that far shore and soak up the sunshine because it's going to get shady on my side before too long. Just leaving the second hole out in the middle, maybe a little too deep, so I'm going to work my way towards shore. Looks like there might be some interesting ice formations on the shoreline. This thick ice takes more work to drill through, but at least I really don't have to worry about going through. I can drive a transport truck on it. "90 minutes in, no bites, and that is about the extent of my patience with ice fishing these days. So I'm gonna take a break, walk along the shoreline and check out these ice formations. It sounds a lot more interesting to me. And I'll work my way along the shoreline and then maybe try a couple spots on the way back. Some of this ice is 20 feet above the lake, and I figure it must have been caused by big waves splashing up here before the lake froze over. The Nipigon Strait can get notoriously wavy, and this is a pretty good illustration of that. I wonder if the people on that airplane know that ice fishing sucks. I hope they do. But being out here, that doesn't suck. still at the 4th hole, hour of daylight left. And if you're not on the fish out here, and you're on foot, what are you supposed to do? They could be anywhere. I'm just gonna keep the line wet here and hope for the best. It's funny being on the world's largest freshwater lake by surface area, yet feeling like I'm in a massive desert. A desert that's made of water and cold. That doesn't sound like a desert at all, but somehow it just has that desolate beauty. So maybe some wolf tracks. Can't be terribly old with the wind blowing over everything. Sun's getting low and not putting out much warmth now, so I'm gonna pack it in, get back to the hot tent, try again in a day or two. As I was heading back across the strait, I was sure I was heading for my camp. I could see the dome of my tent. Turned out to be just a mirage, but I figured it out and made it back to my oasis. In this desert, the oasis isn't water, it's heat. Now, if you please raise your bladder of scotch with me, I'd like to propose a toast to heat in all its forms, from wood stoves to sunshine to illusions. Just had a delicious falafel dinner, came out to look at the stars, and there were some northern lights kicking up to boot. Nothing crazy, but being on this frozen giant lake and getting this night sky, it's just amazing. Another lovely start to day 5 after that incredible starry night. Keeping an eye through my peeping hole, any wildlife that might be coming down the strait. That wolf track, if that's what it was, for sure would have happened since I've been here, so I missed it. But I gotta sleep it sometimes, that's alright. Gonna head down the Nipkow Strait today. 10 kilometers long, and I'm hoping to make it down maybe 2/3. And hopefully get a look from the air of the open lake, because the open water starts around here, so that'd be pretty cool. I love these nautical charts, really nice cartography. I used to make maps for a living, GIS, and I have a real penchant for it. Here's a little tidbit about scales. You've got scale bars, these are my favorite. You've got scale statements like 1 inch equals 1 mile, which is not featured here. And then you've got fractional scales, like 1 to 20,000. And the reason that a scale bar is my favorite is because, for one, you can just put your thumb there and put it over here and kind of get an idea of the distance. But also, the other two forms, if you send someone a 8.5 by 11 and they print it at home on tabloid paper, that's completely wrong now. Whereas a scale bar expands with and shrinks with whatever size you print it at. So it's the best. All squared away at camp. Time for another desert stroll. Really looking forward to today. stalagmite. Plenty of animal tracks snowed over. It'd be a treat to see something, but it's just fun scanning the shorelines. About 6 kilometers down now. That's the mouth of the strait back there. And I think I'll stop at this point and call that the end of the road. It's been beautiful out here, but don't want to push it too far. Gotta come all the way back too. Before the trip on satellite, I could see that the ice goes for another few kilometers that way. But I'm seeing lots of just different textures on the surface, whereas everything up to this point has been really uniform. So it could be fresher ice. I'm sure it's still safe, but the farther I go, the more risk there is. So no need to push it too far. This is gonna be the end point here. Brought in the bucket for a good sit. Great thing about a bucket in winter is it compacts the snow. You can use it anywhere, store stuff in it, and it just brings you back to life on a long hike, along with a freeze-dried meal from the thermos and a $1 million view. Got just far enough for the drone to get within range of the edge of the ice, so I'm very happy. That's the perspective I hope to see. The wind has really picked up and making my way back along the east shore of the strait. Some fox tracks here. Fox tracks are pretty easy to identify. They're about yay big, but it's just one track and they run in a straight line, whereas a lot of predators go left, right, left, right, left, right. Fox is pretty much straight. Snowbank looks like a big frozen wave. Reminds me of some of the big storms I've seen on this lake. You gotta wonder, how on earth does something like that form? Well, I really enjoyed that day, but I was pretty tuckered out after 14 kilometers and just relaxed for the last hour of daylight. Doesn't look like there'll be any stargazing tonight. It's totally overcast. But a little tidbit that I remembered about stars. How many do you think you can see with the naked eye? I'll come back to that, give you a second. Second tidbit You ever notice a really bright spot in the night sky? It could be a planet or a star, and then you look right at it and it gets dimmer. I looked it up, and apparently the center of your retina is less sensitive to light somehow than like the peripheral. So if you look a little to the side of it, it'll get brighter again. Weird phenomenon. Number of stars you can see with the naked eye, about 5,000, according to Stephen Hawking in A Briefer History of Time at least. Oh, how the firelight dances. How it dances on my sweet, sweet bucket. Day 6, looks like it's going to be a beauty, and just cleaning up after breakfast. I use a little scrubber brush and boil my dishes clean out here. Same goes at home. I use a brush, not a sponge or a cloth. And it begs the question, would you brush your teeth, clean your teeth with a sponge or a cloth? Of course not. So why would they be any better at cleaning dishes? They're not. And they're full of bacteria, they don't dry. Anyway, I'm gonna get back on the ice today, see if I can improve my fishing luck. On day 4, I had my line in the water for maybe 2 hours in this section, so it's not fair to rule it out quite yet. So I'll start here, and if that's not working out, I'll try this transition in here from shallow to deep. I think I just got nipped. Well, I might have had a bite about 15 minutes ago. Can't even tell. But it's windy and cold, so I'm going to go around that point, get out of the wind, and get to my next spot. The sun came out, that would be lovely. Got around the point, which didn't look very far on the map, but it was a good 40-minute walk. Hopefully it pays dividends. Got the sonar ball in today. It just was not turning on day 4. That's me on the bottom there. 40 feet of water. I've wanted to come to Nipkoon Bay for a winter trip for years, and I've always talked myself out of it because I figured it would be a little on the busy side and noisy. It's been shockingly quiet. I haven't seen anyone. I haven't seen a ice fishing shack anywhere, an old ice fishing hole, which begs the question, why haven't I? Maybe it is that tough of a bite here. I looked up where to fish in Nipkoon Bay before the trip, and it wasn't where I wanted to camp, the spots that came up online, but I didn't think it would be that feast or famine. Oh my God. There's a pack of wolves heading my way. No way. 2 over there. There are at least 5 or 6. No way. When I first caught sight of them, it looked like they were heading my way. Thankfully, that's not the case. Love to see them, but certainly not a pack coming right at me. Starting to lose sight of them. Oh, no, there they are. Wow. I wish they would have gotten a little closer. But that's amazing. Saw them somewhere over there, and yeah, it looked like they were coming right for me, but they were heading over there, over to the Black Bay Peninsula, where there are tons of moose, one of the most densely inhabited moose populations in Ontario. I'm camped there around the point, and tomorrow I plan to move camp down to right where those wolves went, so it'll be interesting to see if I can see all their tracks. Forget the fishing, that's what I come out here for. Absolutely no one else around, and a pack of 6 wolves. I had 3 wolves come by my campsite in winter a couple of years ago, and that was incredible. But a pack of 6, that is so cool. And the sun's breaking through to boot. What a mood change. Reminds me of when I was young and learning about ancient cultures, and they worshiped the sun. They had sun gods. And I thought that was ridiculous. The sun's not a god. But now, in times like these, I think it's a very valid form of worship. Anyway, I think the wolves have gone into the woods. I totally lost sight of them. As soon as I caught sight of the wolves, my first instinct was, what weapons do I have for self-defense? And this would be pretty gnarly. With the blades exposed, that could do some damage. But a pack of 6 timber wolves, they would win. But human fatalities from wolves are insanely rare. Yesterday, walking down and seeing some wolf tracks, I was looking over my shoulder just to be sensible, but it's insanely rare. Feels like this should have been a great spot. 40 feet of water, deep enough for lake trout, but shallow enough for lots of other species. In between this shallow section and a steep drop off here. But hour and a half of fishing it, nothing. So I'm gonna move out a little further and go all in on lake trout. Go deep. Okay, Y marks the spot. It's gonna be it. To 88 feet of water now. This is the live sonar returns. This is historical, getting older and older as it goes to the left. And then the top is the same, just a different way of looking at it. It's called a flasher. And this is the depth, so 0, getting deeper and deeper. And there's my lure at 70 feet. So same thing, different way of looking at it. I prefer this view on the bottom. Wind is howling out here, it's stay warm. I've been at these holes for about 3 hours now, these 2 holes, and I'm cold and pretty bored, so I'm gonna start working my way back and maybe try a spot on the way. This is gonna be my last spot, right at the mouth of this strait. Why not? 150 feet deep here. Let's hope a laker comes along, because I am not going to last too long in the wind. Okay, it lasted about 10 minutes here, seeing absolutely nothing on sonar. I need to get back to my oasis. No food out there in the desert. I have to see what I can scrounge up in the oasis. Feels great to have the stove lit. but more so just to be out of the wind. Can't believe my luck with the ice fishing. On my last 3 winter trips, I've ice fished 5 different days, probably 30 holes in about 15 hours, without one decent bite. It's just brutal. But speaking of luck, like the pack of 6 wolves and finding this campsite, which has been the best that I've seen by far, right at the right time, plenty of good luck too. Northern Lights. Had one of the spookier moments I've had out in the bush. Went down to the watering hole to fill up the pots one last time, and I had my headlamp on high so that if there was anything around that I could see it, like a pack of wolves. And I looked out that way and shone my light there, and there was like a small light that looked like maybe a snowmobile light in the distance. And then I realized it was 2 eyes glowing back at me from my headlamp. So it wasn't super close, but it wasn't that far away either. Obviously, like, this lamp only goes so far. Whew. There are critters around here. Probably a wolf. That stands to reason. I'm reading The Wolf's Head on this trip. It's about Lake Superior, and the title, of course, refers to the shape of the lake. Fits the bill today. Day 7, getting on the move today, packing up. Just had a quick fire, letting it die out now, and get on my way very shortly. Alright, getting on my way. Today I want to come up from the strait along the southwest shore of the bay and end up somewhere around here. Hopefully have a look at some wolf tracks. Dead calm this morning and mild, just around freezing, and that's brought in the fog. Coming up to the halfway point based on my target for the day, and I think the wolf tracks would have been somewhere around here, so I'm keeping an eye out. Well, funny enough, they were about 15 feet in front of me right after I said that. Look at this one, it's flawless. For about a kilometer I've been following this one, and the second one finally came in with it, going the same direction as me. And in comes number 3. Lots of tracks converging in this area, and maybe some drops of blood. I also saw some small downy feathers here and there, so I don't know if the wolf was bleeding or if it was carrying something that was bleeding. That doesn't look like blood though. Yeah, I'm not sure, but lots of activity here. Some real difference in size. That's a pretty big track. And over here, at least one of them is definitely smaller. Look at that. At times today it's felt like I've been walking through the Arctic. But the fog's starting to lift and reveal some features. Still dead quiet out here. This point coming up will be about the 10-kilometer mark for the day, and I'm thinking about that for camp. Yeah, this is going to be it for night number 7. Perfect spot with sunrise view, and there happens to be an excellent little spot in there for my tent, but it's kind of dark in there, so I'll just set up on the edge here. It's supposed to be a blast of snow and some gusty wind from the south, so I'll just stay leeward there and enjoy the view. Final night. What a view to close out the trip. Even some sun breaking through. This is perfect. It's only supposed to be about -3 tonight, so not bothering with the stove. No oasis tonight, but I do have a thermos of hot water, so that'll do. Have I mentioned the views? Just amazing, for winter camping especially. Tomorrow I can either hug the shoreline and at some point link up with that ice road from where I started. It's supposed to go 10 kilometers along the shoreline, so that'd be easy hauling. Or I could take a bit more direct route and go straight over to that point and around. So we'll see what I feel like in the morning. Got about 16 kilometers left, I think. All cozied up here for the night. Feeling the therapeutic effects of a week on Superior, and there's a good quote in the book about that. It is the only way to chase the glooms away. Go out no matter what the weather. To go out was to be cured. To go out into the north was to be cured more deeply. To go out on the shores of Superior was the most profound cure that a century of travelers and writers could think of. Good morning. Day 8. Welcome back, old friend. One of the best winter sunrises I've seen. So today I'm headed for the ice road. I can go straight across and use the tail end of it, or follow the shoreline and try and use all 10 kilometers of it. And I think I'm gonna take the scenic route. Aaron might be able to drive down it and pick me up there, but I'm not sure. So I want to be prepared to walk down the entire thing. So the ice road got carved out the day before I arrived, and we had no idea it was being made. I don't think anyone does, because it's just this guy who wants to make this thing called, he's calling it the Red Rock Cup. Red Rock is the small community in the corner of the bay, and he wants to make it a 10-kilometer long skating trail, which is longer than the Rideau Canal in Ottawa. So I think it's a pretty cool idea. I want to check it out. And hopefully the sun will come back out. Lost it to the fog. Wow, it is thick actually. Now it would have been nice to see those wolves a little closer, but sure wouldn't want to see them run out of the fog here. Dead silent in here. Even the couple centimeters of snow that fell last night softening the sound of the sled and my own footsteps. As much as I don't think a wolf would attack me, my head is on a swivel right now because visibility is like, I don't know, 100 feet. I can cover that distance in seconds. Okay, starting to get some visibility back. That was quite an experience though. The snow is piled up along the shorelines, so I'm staying offshore to not need snowshoes. And I'm starting to veer back to the shore to look for the ice road. I think he said it follows the shoreline. I'm not sure how closely, but hopefully it's going to turn up in a kilometer or two and make for some easy hauling. Suddenly hit a bunch of snowmobile tracks, and they lead right to the end of the ice road. Here it is. It looks like it might be kind of soupy. Let's see. No. So far so good. Okay. Tempting to ask Aaron to drive down here and pick me up, but I don't know. Seems a bit sketchy. Safer to walk it. Holy cow. Oh. That's cool. Yeah, it does get a bit messy. Good sized pressure ridge here. And more soupiness. That's gonna be the word of the day, I think. Gotta be a little careful here. Sometimes they're just holes, but for the most part, it's still solid, thick ice. This might be more of a problem. How deep is this? Yeah, that's... Looking for a little detour. This looks like a dry patch. Yep, okay, alright. Oh, I thought the pressure ridges would play a bigger factor in this trip, so if that's all I have to deal with, that's not bad. Hopefully smooth sailing ahead, about halfway. Holy tracks! These ones look canine, but they're smaller. Coyotes, perhaps? Tons of them here. Got about an hour left on the ice road, and a rainbow has formed there in the fog. It's faint, but just a capper to so many unbelievable scenes, from the night sky and the northern lights to the wolves to all these panoramic views. Superior just never fails to inspire, and as far as my winter trips go, this one's been a standout.